Welcome to the Blue Bodega, this the shakedown, fool. Shout to E, the chosen one, the same difference. If you came to listen, keep it a bean. I'm from the town, B. Yo, put your threes up. Come on. Yo, let's go. Live from the Blue Bodega, my crew major. If you a true player, this one's for you. And if you ever got beat for your paper, the Blue Bodega gon' have the truth for you. We the Blue Bodega.
What's going on, New York Knicks fans all around the world, the globe, and the New York City, especially, of course. Bienvenidos, Nueva York. Let's talk, and welcome to the Blue Bodega. I am your guy, the chosen one, with the guy that's over there next to me. Same difference. And y'all know what time it is, man. Bringing y'all all the updated New York Knicks news, of course, and all the sports around New York. But one thing's first, and first things first, we gonna talk about these New York Knicks and the way that they made it to the NBA Finals. Same, what's going on, baby? You don't need no introduction, but I'm here. Hats off to you, sir. Hello, how are you today?
Appreciate you. I'm doing good, brother. And as a New York Knicks fan, I don't think I could be any better, man. I'm feeling the best I've felt in more than half of my lifetime in regards to how I'm feeling about these Knicks, man. But all in good health, man. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get to these Knicks, man. We're going to talk about their road to the finals, man. This playoff run. This historic playoff run. Let's talk about it.
Come on now, Nueva York. Let's talk. Listen, brother, I don't think anything that you said is an understatement, but let me tell you something right now. New York City is on fire, brother. Right now, after 53 years of waiting for an NBA title, the New York Knicks couldn't be as close, as ready, and most of all, brother, as prepared as we've ever seen a team like this. Now, of course, this is dating back to a matchup of 1999 when Patrick Ewing, the great Patrick Ewing, let me add, was hurt. So we had to enter that game with a starting five that was undersized and undermanned versus the Twin Towers and David Robinson and a rookie coming to his own who was going to be a super future Hall of Famer in Tim Duncan. But we definitely weren't ready. We did our best. We tried to compete. We actually won one game off sheer will and Latrell Sprewell's, dominant performance. But this is different. We are here. Our starting five coached by Mike Brown versus the Spurs and Wemby the Alien. And this is the matchup, brother, to behold. Talk to us about it, Sam.
The matchup that's before us, or we're going to talk about how we got here. We don't want to. We don't want to.
Yeah, we don't want to give them too much. We ain't gonna do that right now. But let's talk about how we got here, Sam. Bring us through that, baby.
Because before we address how we got here today, we gotta talk about the road here, the historic run that we are currently on. You know what I mean? See,
you know what? Sometimes, Sam, I get so ahead of myself, I gotta remind myself. So I gotta rewind myself. Go ahead, baby. You right.
It be like that sometimes. We are currently in the midst of a historic run by the New York Knicks. And as fans of this team, we should take a minute and breathe that in and appreciate what's happening right now. When the last time we was able to live something like this? The New York Knicks have some of the most loyal and well-traveling fans in the sports world.
You ain't never lie. It's called the New York Takeover. That's how serious it is, Sam. Anytime New York fans are in the playoffs, and I'm talking about New York Knicks fans, it is called the takeover, Sam. You see seas of blue and orange, no matter what stadium, no matter what state, no matter how far, we will pay that money to support our team and let them know because that's just the vibe, baby. That's the vibe of New York City.
The absolute vibe out there, man. It even as somebody in my reserved age, when I looked at some of that, like shout out to Side Talk, NYC and all that. Sometimes you be like, yo, I want some of that, even though that looks like a whole lot of people.
Right.
Sometimes you be like, yo, I'm at a reserved age, but I want some of that right there, man. That looks
Yo, same. Listen, bro. You know your brother's outside, even though I'm at a reserve age, but it's certain things that I gotta partake in because it's just New York, baby. Like the watch parties. I've been there. You know what I'm saying? I've stood around 7,000-8,000 people just crowding the streets of 33rd and Broadway around MSG and can't even walk after the game is over. So we gotta wait for a while. Police don't know how to respond. People don't know how to act. Videos is made. Content creators is everywhere, wilding, burning jerseys, smoking on packs, standing on places. Sometimes I don't even know how dudes get to the places that they get, but they there. So it's all good. Spider-Man in the city. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot going on, brother.
That's a fact.
It's a lot going on.
Definitely seen all that, man. Shout out to NYC, man. Do it like no other out there, man. But yeah, we're going to get about this 2026 season, man. Under first year head coach Mike Brown, they've overcame some adversity, and it was actually on the fly on the road here. You know what I mean? We've been making adjustments on the fly depending on who our opponents are and what are they trying to do to us defensively, or what are they doing as far as scoring the ball. So we're going to go right back to the first round against the Hawks, where we ended up winning the series 4-2. Game one, the Knicks went 113, Hawks 102. So it looked like, all right, this is about to be business as usual. Game one, one of the key contributors was Brunson. He had 28 points. Karl Anthony Towns had 25 points. OG Anunoby had 19 points. And you even had 14 rebounds. 14 rebounds from 6'4", 6'5", Josh Hart. You know what I mean? Talk about somebody that plays above his actual size. Pause. So the Knicks controlled most of that game before Atlanta made a late push, but it was a little too late for that comeback. Brunson's leadership and Towns' dominant second half of that game helped to close the door late in that fourth quarter. Mike Brown impact, man, his playoff debut with the Knicks, he emphasized pace, you know what I mean, ball movement and attacking mismatches, you know what I mean, so like screens, forcing people to switch and things like that, manipulated through Towns. Towns started to get into the role of that there, man. So that's pretty much
and if I might add, Sam, you know, that game right there was one for us as Knicks fans to see what Mike Brown was bringing to the stage in his coaching debut in the playoffs. Now, there was a lot of questionable thought processes and things when it came to the regular season about who Mike Brown was style, how he was going to deal with things in the playoffs. Was he going to start with the motion man? Who was going to be the hub? Things of that nature. And I think this game right here, he actually let them freestyle more than anything. Because as we'll talk later on about this great historic playoff run, his in-game adjustments and his style to each game moving forward totally changed. But this game right here, I think he let his team come out, play loose. They were rested, and Brunson definitely took over in expected moments. The Hawks looked like they wanted to stay in the game, right? But obviously at this point, Brunson was rested, the Knicks were rested, and they were just dominant throughout this game. I don't know if we ever trailed in this game either, but this was one where Mike Brown could stand on the sideline, fold his arms or put his hands in his pockets and go, okay, boys, we got one on lock. Now, things changed, of course, moving forward. but I'll let you introduce that.
Yeah. So going forward, after we ended up leading the series 1-0, here come game 2. And the Atlanta Hawks, they fight back, man, and they tie the series 1-1 when they with a victory over the Knicks 107-106, a 1-point loss.
In the Garden.
In the Garden. And I wasn't mad that it wasn't Brunson taking the last shot. It was actually Mikal Bridges taking the shot that he takes. He likes those falling away from the basket shots. That's his thing. So I wasn't mad at it. You know, we missed. He lost by 1 point. But I'm mad. Not mad. But the Atlanta Hawks erased a 12-point deficit in that fourth quarter. The veteran C.J. McCollum, he had 32 points. He was looking like he was having his Madison Square moment. He was having his moment at the Garden that night. And, you know, people was acting as if that was going to continue, but I don't want to get too far ahead. The Knicks missed chances to finish that game, plain and simple.
Right.
Mike Brown's impact on that loss became a turning point that he later adjusted with the rotations, and he staggered the stars more effectively. You know what I mean? A move that many people viewed, you know what I mean, as critical to the Knicks right there, when he started doing things like, you know what, I'm going to keep a Shaman in there because he may not get the rebounds that a Hart does, but he does play good defense, and he's able to score the ball if he cools down, something like that. But I believe in that series, it was Mikal Bridges that got sat down. So I'm gonna continue on with that one, brother.
And let me tell you right now, right? Game 2 was an real effective game for the Knicks because they were up by 12. But Atlanta got into their game with long, strong defensive presence, starting from full court pressing, making the Knicks commit turnovers, showing them that they are a one-on-one defensive team on the perimeter, forcing the Knicks to start their offense deep into the shot clock. And a lot of people don't understand. When you start your offense with 12, 11, 10, 9 in the shot clock, it means you're full court pressing. Atlanta did a lot of full court pressing because they have a lot of players who are lengthy and strong, pause, so when they come up the court, you can press like that. Mike Brown was not ready for the press, but he also wasn't ready for an ISO player like C.J. McCollum to get into his bag and hit that many shots on his superstar, Jalen Brunson. That was one of the games where Jalen Brunson became a defensive liability. And then you started to realize, like, wait a minute, is C.J. McCollum going to take over this series? This guy had interviews after the game as if he became a villain all of a sudden of New York City. Like, they put him on a level of Trae Young. Of course, it didn't pan out that way at all. But in this game, Mike Brown got a chance to face adversity, which allowed him, when we talk about later on down the line, allowed him to make in-game adjustments. The Knicks were in control, but they lost control due to sloppy play, due to sloppy turnovers, and Atlanta capitalized on those turnovers overall. And that's what allowed them to claim the victory. Now, don't get it twisted. The game was very close because Atlanta came back from behind to claim the victory. But you can see the Knicks were out of sync. They were not on point. And that was something that Atlanta took advantage of. And that is something we're going to talk about going into game 3.
And that's a fact, because now that we're down, now that we're tied 1-1, series are tied, we go game 3. Now we go to Atlanta because they stole one. They already stole one in the Garden. So this is what they call home court advantage for them, being that they stole one in New York already. But they didn't know Knicks fans would show up like they did in game 3. But they did, as they always do. But the Hawks win this game. The Knicks go down 2-1.
Mm.
The Hawks take the series lead. They stun New York again, putting serious pressure on the Knicks at that point. And speaking of that point, the turning point, instead of panicking, Brown altered the lineup combinations. He increased Towns' offensive involvement during this game. And he tightened his defense assignments. So things changed. We took a L during that game, but schematically and strategically, what we was doing has changed right there before our eyes. This is when you really seen Cat play that point forward position. And that turned out to this day to be advantageous for this team to allow Brunson and the other players to be off the ball, catch and shoot, catch and drive. So that's been great from this point.
And let's talk about it, Same, because this was if I'm not mistaken, this was a 1-point loss. Am I right?
It was, absolutely.
And it came down to the last possession. And I think the Knicks had the ball for the last possession and turned the ball over under the rim. Am I right? Yeah. Because Atlanta, people forget, Atlanta has these lengthy defensive players that know how to guard in the paint and that know how to disrupt passes. And this guy in the Dyson Daniels and a superstar rising in the Johnson kid, right? They got what they got in the pieces that they have. They're a young defensive core.
Yeah.
But they're just missing a couple of offensive superstars when it comes down to fourth quarters. Atlanta's on the verge. They are not a team that is looking outside. They're a team that's from the inside that's waiting to gel. And they're going to be one of them top teams next season if they can get it right in free agency and get a couple of shooters and a couple of scorers that can help this young defensive core, because they are very defensive. And they definitely made it a challenge for the Knicks. No questions about it. The Knicks possibly played the most defensive team in Atlanta in the first round because these guys really know how to get after it, and that's what led to a 1-point loss. I'm not saying the Knicks had a hangover or thinking they was going to win this series easily, because that's not the mentality of our team. But I'm saying to you, a well-coached, well-balanced, offensive and defensive Atlanta team let us know we have to wake up. And obviously, this was the game that the awakening began.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit with this game. I was so upset because we didn't even get a shot. To have the ball with the last couple seconds on the clock and to be sloppy enough to not even get a last second shot was so upsetting as a fan. But I digress. I move on to game 4. Game 4, Knicks 114, Hawks 98. And we tied the series 2-2. The key contributors was, once again, Towns. He dominated in the interior. He showed us some of that big man, pause. He's getting a little physical down there, doing some of the things we want to see.
You know what I'm saying?
Go hard,
Lil Fizz, baby. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? Lil Fizz. If this was B2K, he would have been Lil Fizz. You know what I'm saying?
Give that man his flowers, man. But the job ain't done. But I'm just going to say, at this point, all the stuff that everybody, even Knicks fans, was saying about Karl Anthony Towns doesn't do this. He don't play no defense. He showed up. He's been showing up thus far.
But Same, that would be me, brother. You talking about me. Like, let's be honesty and real. You are talking about your brother. I had a problem with Beige. I had a problem with him. And fans, let me tell y'all this right now. I advocated to get that man more than anybody in the world. I told everybody, we get a Karl Anthony Towns and we can win a championship. That's how much I believed in his skill set. That's how much I believed in the player. That's how much I think that he would fit this Knicks team. And I was so blessed that Julius Randle, God bless him as well, was removed from this team, and we acquired a Karl Anthony Towns, and a RJ Barrett was removed from this team, and we acquired an OG Anunoby. Of course I miss RJ. Of course I miss Quickly. But guess what? What we got in return were the pieces that fit what we were trying to do, and it showed. But I hated Karl Anthony Towns' game for some reason this season. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the flailing, the looking at the refs, the needing for a foul to be called, the picking up stupid fouls. It was just the mental mistakes, I guess, Sam, that made me feel the way that I felt about him. Because that's not New York's basketball. No. New York basketball is mentally tough, physically tough, and you're going to have to battle through every win that you get, because we're going to fight you down to every tooth, inch, and nail. We're scrappy. That's who we are. Blue collar team. And now we have ascended to become that. Shout outs to Mike Brown. Shout outs to Karl Anthony Towns. Your flowers are given to you by me. The crow has been eaten with a soda on the side. Thank you.
Yeah. And the job ain't done. The job ain't done. Don't forget that. Brunson controlled the tempo of that game. At the end of that game, we held the Knicks under 100. We held the Hawks under 100. I gotta look it up, but when we keep teams under 100, we win a lot more than we lose. Mike Brown's adjustments started to pay off in that game. It really started to pay off in that game. I think that's the game where they couldn't stop OG. They couldn't stop OG from cutting to the basket that game, man. And it was something nice to watch, man. And we was able to be a little bit physical on defense without getting the calls and things like that. So
is that the game we had 29?
What 29? What?
Did he have 29 points? OG.
I gotta check that. I gotta check that.
Next time we'll have the stats for y'all. Listen, we just going through this right now because Knicks fans is listening in. We on fire. The city's on fire. You know what I'm saying? So we just giving y'all exactly what it is that y'all need. We bringing the energy tonight. So if the stats and facts ain't all the way there, New York fans understand. You know what I'm saying? We feeling good right now. So let's keep it moving.
So the series tied 2-2. Game 5, the Knicks gonna take this one again. This one is a little bit of a whooping, man. 126-97. We take.
You being modest, brother. This ain't whooping. This is belt to ass. This is how we not playing. This is where Mike Brown showed up to show out. And every Knick showed it was like, you know what? I'm buying into his philosophy. I understand what he wants us to do. The assignment was understood by us. Because the other team didn't understand what the hell was about to happen.
Hell nah. This is when Bridges and Anunoby, they started using their length and stuff. They started shutting the wings down. All that. Shut all that down on the wings. You know what I mean? Towns continue his all-around game. You know what I mean? I love this newfound Towns. And this
is this the triple-double game?
This is a triple. It's the game.
It's the triple-double game, right? Okay, go ahead, baby.
This the game that Brunson dropped 40, dropped 39.
Right.
That's the game. Brunson dropped 39 this game, man. Mike Brown, his offense is fully shifted towards the Towns Brunson action thing going on there. You know what I mean? Creating matchup mismatches, creating mismatches. You know what I mean? So it's still a work of art. I still like watching it now to this day. Hopefully we see some of that tomorrow and they don't got us figured out. You know what I mean? So we go ahead and take the series lead 3-2. 3-2. Yes, sir. Game 6. This is the closeout game. If that was belt to ass, if Game 3 was about to ass, I don't know what this is. Knicks.
I'll tell you right now,
140.
this is gun to temple.
Sheesh.
This is
We
called
don't
gun
know.
to temple. Listen,
No violence.
when you put a gun to somebody's temple,
We don't
you are in
promote
full control of everything.
violence over
And
here.
all they want to do is live. You can ask any question you want. You can say whatever you want. You can have them perform how you want them to. It's nothing they can do. It's called full control over you because the fear has set in because this might be your last moment. That was gun to temple.
This is now the last game. Pardon me, I was wrong about the last game. This is the game where Towns had 12 points, 11 boards, and 10 assists.
Okay, so this was the triple double closeout.
Yeah, that's the triple double.
Okay.
Triple double closing. The Mikal Bridges
Right.
had 24 points, and OG had the 29. So OG had the closeout game. They went crazy, man. OG with 29, Mikal with 24, triple double Towns, 12, 11, and 10. You know? Oh man.
The
So
TDT. You understand?
this right here produced one of the most dominant closeout performances in NBA history, leading by 47 points at halftime. We didn't have to score another
Jiggling,
point.
jiggling. You know what I'm
We,
saying?
we
Jiggling,
didn't
jiggling.
have to score
You know?
another point, and we would have still won that game. That's crazy. New York produced one of the most dominant closeout games that game, man. I just
But
wanna say that game.
let's talk about it, Same. Let's talk
Yeah.
about it. I know that we trying to breeze through this thing and get the fans through this thing because everybody is excited listening to us. We're excited talking to each other, and New York is just on fire right now. But I want to give this a little bit more of context. You know what I'm saying? For the content. This is a game of straight and complete and pure dominance that Knicks fans haven't seen in so long, especially in the playoffs, that this was something that allowed us to say, you know what? This team may be something better than what we all thought. Because none of us thought that that was the type of game that we would have played, that put that many points up, but shut them down defensively to the point where it let it be known that this series is over. The game ended in the second quarter.
Those are facts.
That's something Knicks fans haven't seen in decades, bro. A game in the playoffs ending in the second quarter? That's what New Yorkers call a little bit to a lot. It was a little bit to a lot. But let me tell you something that I love more than anything in the world, Sam. Mike Brown said this is not going to go the way that I want anybody to think it's going to go. I want my boys to understand, even with a blowout win, you're going to play defense, you're going to get after it, you're going to stay focused, and you're going to understand what it feels like to win like this, because we will never lose like this. And that was his step up as a coach in the playoffs with this team to let us know we are nowhere near the same New York Knicks. We are the Mike Brown coached New York Knicks.
Those are big facts. That's a factory. So, you know, we're going to be moving on and moving along. Those guys are done. You know what I mean? That really put a spark into what the Knicks was doing then. Because I don't know what was going on, what enabled us to take those 2 losses. But while we was figuring things out in the midst of those losses, we've created one of the most dominant teams that you ever seen, that I've ever seen in all my years of living. I've never seen somebody go out there and just dominate the way they are right now.
Gun to temple.
The coaching is phenomenal. To be able to do things on the fly and to make those adjustments that's needed, in particular to the players that's on the court that you're opposing, It's like art, man.
Mm.
And I love it, man. So we done with that series, man. We done with round one.
Gun
We're
to
gonna
temple.
move on. We're moving on to the Eastern semis against the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm gonna just say it right now, man.
Woo! Talk on it.
Do y'all know how it ended, man? The brooms came out. We 4-0 those boys. But before we get there, man, the Knicks never look back after defeating the Hawks. We never look
Here
back.
we go.
Man.
In the immortal words of Dak Prescott. Yeah. Here we go.
Listen, man. Brunson became the offensive engine. Towns dominated on both ends. When have you or even yourself, yes, you that's listening to this right now, when have you thought to yourself, yo, Cat is dominating on both ends of the floor? Not never. You've never been able to say that to yourself, man. Anunoby and Bridges, people gonna have to start showing some respect to their defensive capabilities on the wings. You know what I mean? Hart, his rebounding and his hustle is phenomenal, man. You gotta love the person that's gonna play with more heart than the person he's playing against. Pun intended. That guy goes out there and puts it all on the line every day, every play. You get tired of playing people like that. It's like Steph Curry all day chasing.
Frustrating. That dude is just frustrating, bro.
Yeah, all day. You know what I mean? So, we swept the boys, man. I don't know if the brother want to get into any specifics about what we did in this 4-0.
Yeah, I'm a talk only. I'm gonna talk about how it went. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Same.
Yeah.
We from New York City, baby.
Yes, we is, baby.
Back when we was younger, right?
Mm-hmm.
We knew what it was when we went to Bensonhurst, Staten Island, or Little Italy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was called Please Have Respect for Where You Are, regardless to where you are coming from, right?
Big facts. Yes,
And
sir.
you will get tied up, and we had a saying in New York, we will throw cement shoes on you, and you'll go swimming with the fishes, right? So basically, I'm not even going to have to talk too much. I'm going to give everybody a prelude to this series, and then I'm going to give everybody an interlude, and then I'm going to conclude. You ready? Here was the prelude. The New York Knicks are facing Tyrann Maxey, and he's coming off scoring. And Joel Embiid is back, and a resurgent Paul George with veterans Tobias Harris and the rest of these guys. And listen, they are really, really coming off a 7-game series victory against the Boston Celtics. The New York Knicks have their hands full. So we'll see who comes out of this series.
Mm-hmm.
That sounded good.
Mm-hmm.
That was good promo. The New York Knicks washed the 76ers, bro. And it wasn't even close. It looked competitive because it's basketball. But when it was all said and done, it was done without having to be said. The New York Knicks, as we say in New York, dog walked them. You understand? We walked them boys down.
Mm-hmm.
And down the turnpike was more than anything than a blessing. New York Knicks fans showed up in Philadelphia and had them afraid to come down their own goddamn escalator all the way out there. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about it. In Philadelphia, let's talk about the suckerism that y'all was on when y'all was not trying to sell tickets to the New York Knicks fans, but we so damn resourceful, we bought our tickets off Jersey Ticketmaster to get into the building.
Mm-hmm.
Feel me? That's how New York Knicks fans show up. No, I don't got nothing to say about this series. It's fuck Philly all day. And that's exactly what happened. Note and pause on that. But y'all know what time it is. We went into their crib and let them know we run shit. We didn't wipe our feet, and it was bacon, egg, and cheese on all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? It was all type of shit everywhere. No cheesesteak residue, none of that, bro. You feel me? Chopped cheese everywhere. Pizza everywhere. Timberlands everywhere. Get them the fuck out of here.
Big facts.
Move on.
Big facts. Because at this point, I believe we're 7-0, right? Because after we lost those two, after we lost those two, we didn't lose not near another game. So we're 7-0.
Not near another. Yeah.
Not near another. We head into the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cavaliers.
Rested. Let's talk on it. Well rested, by the way.
Well rested. This was the story. I'm not gonna lie. Game 1, before that miraculous comeback. Hold on.
We'll talk about it.
I got that in the background. Game 1, I'll give you that. You did see a little rust on the team. But when you got,
he's talking about rest, people. Rest. That's all he's talking about. He's talking about rest. There's
rest. You did see rest on our team throughout 3.5 quarters. Because when it got to about 7.5 minutes, it turned to Bunsen burner time, and shit was cooking. Got real historical in there that night. And the Knicks came back from 22 down to beat the Breaks.
Same, and if it's all right, can I add a little context to the content? Because I want fans to know when to look for what you are expressing, okay? The Knicks was down 93-71 with 7:44 to go in the fourth quarter. And things, for some reason, changed. And that's what he's talking about. That 93 Cleveland, 71 New York Knicks, 7:44 in the fourth quarter. Something clicked. And we're going to get into that later. Go ahead, Sam.
Something clicked, and what clicked was Jalen Brunson. And that shit got infectious. And then you got a couple threes from Mikal Bridges. One that was late in the shot clock. The turnaround three. I'm still excited for what this team has been doing. The path that we have taken to get here. The adversity that we faced. People want to downplay the opponents that we faced, but we do not create the schedules. We only play who are on the schedule. You know what I'm saying? These people are NBA players. They get paid too. We don't need to have the asterisk with everything that the Knicks do. You know what I mean? Because everybody got to suit up and tie their shoes up just like we do before we step on the court. You know what I mean? We are not physically run down like we have been with Thibodeau in years prior. We are very, very well rested, and we have quite the bench. We go 9+ deep on this
Talk
bench.
about it, Sam.
Never
talk
have.
about it, and let's talk about it, Sam, because a lot of people is getting this twisted, talking about we had an easy path. Hold on for a second. Hold on for one moment. Didn't the Cleveland Cavaliers defeat the Detroit Pistons in 7 games? Both teams being fully healthy, right? And being up 3-2. And Detroit went into Cleveland and beat them. And then Cleveland went into Detroit and beat them in a game 7. Okay? With 2 top premier scoring guards of our decade in this era in James Harden and Donovan Mitchell, right? With two big men who know how to rim defend, rebound, and also score from the perimeter, stretch the floor in Evan Mobley, right? And Jared Allen. So it wasn't like this Cleveland team was some team that didn't have the understanding or experience or the players to get where they got. They beat the number 1 seed in the East.
Facts.
Okay? We just happened to dog walk. So it made it seem like it's easy. But let me tell something to the Knicks fans right now. Nothing was easy about our path to the NBA Finals. It's the adjustments that Mike Brown made after Game 3 in Atlanta that allowed us to become who we are. Making Cat the hub, putting everybody under the free throw line in motion, getting the ball 5 to 6 passes to each shooter, either in a corner or the perimeter, opening up the offense by having a central hub in Cat, and also making in-game adjustments while we played every opponent. Every game has been played differently by Mike Brown. Please don't get it twisted. The Knicks fell back into the ways of ISO ball at times in these series but he allowed his starters to have a seat and put his bench players on the floor so they could understand how to run the offense, and then added his starters back. We saw Jalen Brunson sit for 6 to 7 minutes within second and third quarters in these series. We are never going to take away from the Knicks' historic run. And we're never going to let nobody tell us there's an easy road to the NBA Finals. Health was our advantage in all of these series. Shout outs to Mike Brown for attrition and nutrition and keeping these boys where they need to be. And we walk into this series coming up in the finals, 95% healthy. Take it away, Saint.
Yeah, because with the Cavaliers, you know, we swept them. We pulled out the broom. Jalen Brunson got the series MVP. He was getting 25 and 25.5 points a game, almost 8 assists a game. You know what I mean? He won the Larry Bird Trophy as Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The supporting cast was there. Towns, he averaged a triple-double. I mean, not a double-double. Towns, Karl Anthony Towns, in this last round, averaged a triple-double. And Anunoby, you already know he's elite two-way player. That's what he does. He plays basketball on both ends of the both ends of the ball. And Bridges, whoever your star is, he'll guard him. It don't matter who it is. You put him on every star that's on the team. You need him to guard Harden, he'll guard Harden. You need him to guard Mitchell, he'll guard Mitchell. You know what I'm saying?
Shout outs to that. Same. Shout outs to what you're saying, because I know a lot of people don't understand. This playoffs was the emergence of 3 players. It was the emergence of Mikal Bridges that let everybody know, I understand what you might have felt about me, especially in the first series. Let's go right to it. In that Atlanta Hawks series, in the first 3 games, Mikal Bridges was absent, disappearance, translucent, the invisible man, and we was calling for his head. You know how New Yorkers get down. We was calling for his head.
That's a fact.
And why did we disrespect our draft picks by having this man on the court? Something clicked in him. Mikal Bridges has been one of the best players in the entire playoffs, not just for the New York Knicks team, in the entire playoffs. Consistency is not even a thought process. This man is shooting 67% from the field goal wise. Something that New York Knicks fans would never think they would see. Then you have Towns being a central hub, dictating the offense, taking the defense and having to bring them all the way out to the top of the key and making pinpoint passes for baskets and easy layups right to the rim. Then you have OG Anunoby, one of the best two-way players in the game, defensive perimeter-wise who's guarding the best player on offense on the opposing team while still dropping 19 to 21 points a game offensively for the Knicks. Shooting 46% from three-point. Then on top of that, you got Josh Hart, who in these playoffs, they challenged him, dared him to shoot from outside.
Yep.
Wound up hitting 5 threes in one game, 4 threes in another, and 6 in one more.
Speaking of another player that stepped up, Landry Shamet.
Come on. Let's talk about it.
Shamet.
But it's real. Let's talk about it.
Both ends of the floor.
Come on.
He's just not there to score points, which he can. He's pretty good with letting that 3-ball fly and hitting it at a high clip. But his ability to defend is how you say is damn. When you're not respecting it,
It's underrated. He's an underrated defender.
Yes, sir.
He's underrated on the perimeter. He's underrated guarding the best players. But let me tell you something. He does not have to stop a player. He is disruptive. He is handsy. He is quick with his feet. He is great horizontally. And he's not just letting anybody blow by him. And hold on for a minute. I know Knicks fans is about to go crazy right now. Not only is he hitting threes, but he is penetrating, going to the basket, and he is doing something I didn't know he could do. I didn't know he could jump like that. Landry Shamet is going to the basket with authority and putting the ball in the cup, letting it be known. I will flush it on whoever is standing in my way. But most of all, he's playing with a fire and a desire, because he understands what it takes for this team to win. And Mike Brown has him playing some of the best basketball he's ever played in his career. And it came from sitting Josh Hart down because he was looking like he didn't have it together in a series. So come on now, talk back to me, Saint.
What a move to go with what's best for the team rather than thinking, oh, my player, he'll shoot his way out of the slump or get himself up out of it. Sometimes benching a player is the best thing you can do.
He's referring to Tom Thibodeau. If nobody wants to talk about it, I will. That's exactly what Sam is saying. It was an underhanded back slap. Okay. It was. We gonna get to it. Okay, so it was a Liu Kang kick.
I'm not even messing with Thibodeau. You know what I mean?
Okay, all right. I am.
It is fitting for Thibodeau, but as we've seen Mike Brown sit Mikal Bridges in the first round, then you know anybody's game to be sat down if you're not doing what you need to do on the court, especially in to be trusting Shamet out there late in games and closeouts and things like that. That's got to be one hell of a confidence booster for himself. And it doesn't take any way from the contributions of Josh Hart. You know what he's going to get you. He's going to dive down there and get those loose basketballs. He's going to get the rebounds, the offensive rebounds. He's going to make the extra pass. But shooting, the hesitation with the shooting sometimes is one of the things that make you say, come on, man, just shoot it. They daring you, man.
And that's what teams are challenging. Teams are daring him, right? To shoot because they feel he can't. But in these playoffs, he has answered the bell more than not, and he's made them pay. Leave him open and he'll make you pay. So I'm looking, and I'm very curious, Sam, to see if the Spurs try that approach by leaving him open. And if he hits his first couple of shots, will they actually now go into a zone or extend their coverage to the three-point line because they feel he may shoot it, which gives the Knicks a straight advantage because now they're outside of the paint. Now they're playing right into the under the free throw line, Cat being the hub, cutters to the basket situation. But we'll get into that during the finals.
We absolutely. But to finish this Cavaliers series, man, we close it out again. BTA. No starters playing in the fourth again. They got taken out in the third again on both sides. 130 to 93. Key contributor. Towns with a double-double. He went 19 and 14. Anunoby had 17 points. Brunson, he's just a leader on the floor. So the things that he do is just contagious. And then the bench, they don't skip a beat. There be more times than none when the bench come in, they don't skip a beat, or they even add on to the lead that the starters already left for them. The way Mike Brown is altering this team, he is coaching a legendary run, man, and he has transformed the Knicks to a real championship contender. We are here. The time is now. It could be a whole lifetime before we get there again. Who knows? But I'm here to bask in the moment, man. And I'm glad I got my brother with me, man. Talking about how these Knicks, man, how they made these adjustments, man. They increased Towns' involvement, being increased in these playoffs, to stagger Brunson and Towns to get that flow going, man. The defense has been elite. The switching has been elite. Bridges, Anunoby, Towns has been playing defense. He held opponents to 100 points multiple times. Out of these 11 games, maybe once or twice, teams scored over 100 points, man. We've been keeping teams under 100 points, man. But Brunson, he's the undisputed leader, you know. Towns flourished as a scorer and a rebounder, you know what I mean? He been getting his hands dirty. The role players, they thrived in their role. They came there and did what they supposed to do. Like I said, when these bench players came in, a lot of times, more than none, man, it wasn't a beat to be skipped. You know what I mean? So, and then we got Mike Brown. He got his championship experience. You know what I mean? He's been to finals before.
Four rings, brother.
You know
Four rings.
You know what I mean?
Four rings.
He's never been this deep into the postseason as a head coach, though. Except for did he go with LeBron?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he won LeBron. Yeah. All right. Yes, sir. So, man, I think we're in good hands, man. I've been watching great coaching. The defining image for the Knicks run for me has been Brunson's leadership, Towns' dominance, Anunoby and Bridges locking down the opposing stars, and Mike Brown making every adjustment necessary to keep the Knicks advancing towards the first championship in more than 5 decades. 5 decades.
I like how you said that, brother, and I'm gonna tell you what I'm talking about. Because it seemed like you was a little bit reluctant, but the New York in you, straight up and down, said, you know what? This is how I'm getting down, and can't nobody tell me nothing.
Nah,
and that's it. And I'm with you. Knicks in 6. I'm with you. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, Mike Brown, shout outs to your philosophy, shout outs to your in-game adjustments, but shout out to your leadership quality for having these dudes mentally prepared, physically prepared, and ready to execute. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. If you are executing, an opponent has to study for you. And I guarantee you, the Spurs had to do more homework for this New York Knicks team than any time that they've ever played. I'm not talking about the success in the Emirates Cup. I'm not talking about the success in the regular season, because we know the playoffs is a different season. And the New York Knicks have been playing a different style of basketball, and so has the San Antonio Spurs. And they rightfully both deserve to be in these finals, and I am excited about the matchup because of 1999, when I was fully invested in my 20s. I watched my beloved Patrick Ewing not be able to play and send an undersized, undermanned, inexperienced team versus the Twin Towers, as they called them back then, which was David Robinson and Tim Duncan, and a veteran and Avery Johnson, and just, Sean Elliott and these boys, and they just overpowered the Knicks with size, presence, and dominance. And it was nothing we can do. We tried, we gave it a shot, but it didn't happen the way we wanted it to. So now, coming against whom they call the alien in Victor Wembanyama, the great second-year player, and Stephon Castle, Vassell, DeAndre Fox, the veteran, who was also coached by Mike Brown on that Sacramento team that went from worst to the playoffs in 2022, and he got Coach of the Year, right? So there's some history between these guys, right? Overall. But we, the New York Knicks, are here because we deserve to be here. And right now, the 5 starters from the New York Knicks are playing the best basketball in a playoff run in NBA history. Everybody is going to have to be guarded. Everybody is going to have an attention to detail. Everybody is going to have to be accounted for. And then we can talk about the bench. We can talk about Mitch. Let's talk about that injury. I got one question for you, Same. Are you concerned? Is he going to be there?
Oh, he's going to be there, man. He's the longest tenured Knick, man. He's been
but
waiting
is he
his
going
whole
to be
career.
there?
He's going to be there, bro. He's
Okay.
been waiting his whole career.
Are you worried about the injury?
I'm not worried about it. You know why? Because his adrenaline is going to take there. I got enough adrenaline inside of me as a fan. So to be a player that been there this whole time, man, you see how he ain't let that whatever it was linger. He wouldn't have got that operation. He like, shit, let this motherfucker heal. I got to get up in this game and make his presence felt as he usually does. When he comes in a game, he makes his presence felt. If he starts hitting those free throws, dare I might say that guy becomes elite.
Let me tell you this, Same, right? A lot of people ask me, yo, E, what's going on, man? He gonna be playing. He got a problem. He hit his hand. Yeah. I did some extensive research, of course. You were there. I did it behind the scenes, and I let everybody know where the issue was with his pinky, where the swelling was, where the issues were, right? When you have full range of motion of your pinky, that means that you can make a tight, balled up fist. Let's talk about Mitchell Robinson's skill set. He's not using his pinky to do anything as much as he's using his legs, his body, his positioning, and that is the key. Because rebounding is about positioning. Blocking shots is about timing. Offensive rebounds is about timing. These are the things that he needs to guard whoever is on the perimeter. His legs is what allows him to guard. His quickness from horizontal to horizontal. You know what I'm saying? Not vertically. But he is a stationary defensive player who doesn't have to have offensive moves, putbacks, lob dunks, and, creating disruption and changing and altering shots in the lane. You can do all that with a pinky inside of a glove. So will he be as effective because he doesn't have a pinky injury? I won't say he will not be or will be, but I do know one thing. Thank you, Lord, that it is not any lower body injury that how he's been facing his entire career. It is a pinky. Ladies and gentlemen, Mitchell Robinson will be playing in game 1, and you will not see any lingering effects of that pinky unless he gets to the free throw line. But he ain't been making those anyway. So it obviously ain't the pinky.
All right. With that being said, we around that 1 hour mark.
Yes, sir, we are. But I'm saying, wait a minute, man. I can't do this, brother, without you. So I have to ask. During all this time, we talked about the great run. We talked about our team. Knicks fans is hyped right now hearing this conversation. So it's one question that I got to ask you and all the Knicks fans right now.
I'm listening.
At what point did you feel in this playoff run that your New York Knickerbockers was for real?
You know, I heard that somewhere before, right? I heard that somewhere before not long ago, and I had an opinion on that, right? And I thought I was convinced until I heard my brother, man. And that I think I'm leaning towards that same time, man. No, I'm gonna stick with mine. My moment when I noticed that the Knicks were for real, when I seen so many good players in Game 3 of the Philadelphia series, their faces said it all. They were done. Bro, they were checked out, bro. They were checked out. They were done. Like the end of the third quarter, they didn't want no more. Game 3, and these are faces you know, a Paul George and a Embiid and those type of players. When you seen it in their face, in their eyes, I knew right then we're working with something really special, man. We're working with something really special because I seen their souls get snatched on live television. Excuse me for not having a better choice of words with that, but that's how it looked to me. It looked like all of their their want to, and their desire, and their fight to keep going, it just left their body. And I read it right through their eyes, their body language, and their facial expressions, man. They were cooked.
Finish him.
They were cooked. And we had the tendency to do that in every round. In every round, we snatched souls. Pardon my poor choice of words, but that is what I bear witness to. We snatched souls, man.
Get over here.
We made grown men getting paid to play basketball not want to play anymore. It was cool with going home and going on vacation.
Giving checks to charity.
They knew that the Knicks were just dominant. They tried the left. They tried the right. They tried the double team. They tried the trap. They tried the full court press. And only thing that happened was adjustments were made in your face on the TV. If you say you didn't see those adjustments being made in your face, you're a liar. And
you ain't watching what we watching.
Yeah, you're
You know what I'm saying? You ain't watching what we watching. You're a liar.
Or you're telling a fib, as my grandma would say.
Right. FIBB.
Yeah, you're telling a fib. You're not being honest with yourself or whoever you're telling that crap to. You seen the New York Knicks take the want out of 3 teams back to back to back. You seen teams stealing checks to getting paid to not show up.
Checks for charity. Give your check to charity.
With that part there, what was your moment, E? What was your moment? Because mine was Game 3, third quarter, Philadelphia. When I realized, I said, yo.
Mine and same. I'm gonna tell you something. Your moment is very, very hard to take away because it happened previous, right, to my moment. And that is probably the moment a higher percentage of fans will go with, because that was the moment that you saw the camera pan over to the Philadelphia bench and you saw grown superstars hurting, looking down, grabbing their faces. And we know how basketball players do. All of a sudden you want to play with your beard, you want to twist your little, you know what I mean, twist up whatever you got going on in your hair, or you want to sit there and just put your hands on your knees and spit sunflower seeds into a cup or drink, whatever's going on, right? And that is a moment I will never try to compete against. So I would just add 2. Again, I mentioned it a little earlier, but I didn't get into it in depth. 93-71 in the fourth quarter with 7:44 to go. Something clicked in the New York Knicks, in the New York atmosphere, in New York City, in Madison Square Garden, in Jalen Brunson, in the team itself. And I don't know what it is, but we all saw what it was. And it was called, I am not here to quit, and you are not here to win. It is time to turn up where we left off. The rust has fallen off. It is time for me to show the world why I am 11, why I am a captain, why I'm in a clutch player of the year, why I am Mr. Fourth Quarter, and James Harden was a victim. Let's talk about it. He was a victim of domestic violence. And if I was him, I would have wore dark shades at the rest of the interview after that, because that let it be known. You understand?
Whoa. Man was out there dancing with them yellow shoes, wasn't he?
Yo, come on now. Billy Ocean. Come in quick.
The late, great Gregory Hines out
my
there,
God.
man.
My God, bro. My God. My God. And if that wasn't called, I want my brothers, as the Knicks are his brothers, I want my brothers to know, I got this. I got this. And I want everybody to understand how important it is. And shout outs to Landry Shamet, because he was a big part of that entire comeback from 93 to 71. And that for me was the moment I recognized we are ready to go as far as we want with this coach, with this team, with this fight, with this resilience, with this bravado, with this moxie, with this swag, and this type of mentality. Healthy talent on the floor, meshing as a team, never quitting, never giving up. And that right there lets me know who we are. We are the New York Knicks, and this has been the Blue Bodega.
You already, man. Great show. I'm sorry, man. One more. Before I gotta get a fans, one more. One key for tomorrow's game. One key for the game against the Spurs to be able to win that game.
Type that in the chat too. We want to hear what you have to say in the chat. And also, listen, if you loving what you hearing, if you liking what you liking, and you knowing what you knowing, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. Support your brothers, man. We out here giving you guys the content that you want, the words that you need to hear. We ain't tap dancing around nothing, and everybody knows we are speaking actual factuals. But right now, we're celebrating our New York Knicks with you guys, man. We're giving you exactly what it is that you need. Not what you want, what you need. And that's the New York Knicks in a concentrated dose. Hit that like and subscribe to the tribe. Go ahead, Saint. What was you saying?
Yes, sir, man. And with that being said, man, thanks for everybody coming out and supporting the show, man.
Wait,
like
but I need
said,
your key moment, bro. Nah, you ain't getting away. I need your key to tomorrow's game, brother.
Oh, my key.
What's your key, bro? Talk to
My
me.
key to tomorrow is pull Wemby out. If Wemby is guarding Towns, that's going to be great for us. Because Towns is going to be down there by the 3-point line orchestrating, playing point forward.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, they've already announced. They've already announced that Stephon Castle is going to be the primary guardian of Jalen Brunson. They've already announced it. Stephon Castle will be taking on the assignment of Jalen Brunson.
Oh yeah, and then you know our guys are a little bit bigger. We not small like the Thunder. Some of those guys on the wing ain't like our guys on the wing. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, we not thin. Meaning that, you know what I mean, we ain't weak thins.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one of my keys to the game, man. Get Wemby out the paint. If Wemby's going to be guarding Cat, guess what, Cat? Point forward as you is. You're going to be down there by the 3-point line a lot, keeping that guy out the paint. Tire him out. Keep the pace. Keep the pace going. Keep the pace going. You know what I mean? So they fresh off of Game 7, man. I think we're going to continue this dominant role. I know that you know the masses may not agree, but I think we're 11-0 in the last 11 games. We haven't lost since April. It's June. We out here with work to do, man. And those 2 losses in April were about 1 point. I'm looking for the Knicks to come out here and dominate and put the world on notice. Respect the East. Respect NYC. Respect the Big Blue Bodega. Respect ETC. It's your boy, same difference. And we out of here.
Listen, my key, right? 2 things, brother. 2 things. If Mikal Bridges continuously plays the basketball he's playing, if OG Anunoby continuously plays the basketball he's playing, and if Landry Shamet continue playing the basketball that they're playing, we already have 3 players that are going to dominate 3 players from the Spurs offensively and can keep up defensively with what they got going on. This game tomorrow is going to be exactly one of those games that we saw either in Cleveland or in Philly, meaning as it started out competitive, but once the 3rd quarter hit and those adjustments were made and those guys coming off the bench giving you important minutes like Mitchell, McBride, Shamet, Clarkson, right? Is going to get into the mix and is going to take off from there. So same, I'm looking for game 1 to be the pivotal game in this series, because 1, we'll be on the road. We'll be on the road. 2, it'll show us how Mike Brown coaches. The Spurs are going to come out hype. They're going to come out loud, but it's no atmosphere we have not been in before. And let's see how Knicks fans travel. Shout outs to the New York Knicks fans that are going to be in San Antonio. Shout out to the New York Knickerbockers for making it to the NBA Finals. Shout outs to Same Difference. It's same, but it's different. And we are the Blue Bodega. Peace.
One.